Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let us give thanks to Allah for giving the grace of health and safety so that we can discuss today. And don't forget greeting to the great prophet, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Honorable to Dr. Tatu Siti Robiah as a lecturer in the subject Introduction to Linguistic course, and audience, my beloved friends. On this opportunity, I'm Sinta Awatu Saada as a moderator. We'll open the presentation today, and I will guide the presentation today. The topic we will discuss is about sociolinguistics. Okay, let's just go to the first session, which is the opening. For open discussion today, let's say Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The next is the delivery and presentation of the material. For the first presenter, Herman, time is yours.
Okay, I will explain what is sociolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is a sub-discipline of linguistics that studies the relationship between language and society. In other words, sociolinguistics studies the use and use of language, the place of use of language, grammar, the various consequences of contact with two or more languages, and the variety and the time of users of various languages. Apart from that, this science also explains why people speak differently in different social contexts. Studying how people use language in different social contexts can provide a lot of knowledge about how language works in society, especially with regard to social relations in community, and the way people convey and construct aspects of their social identity through the language they use. Sociolinguistics, according to some experts, sociolinguistics is a branch of linguistics that belongs to macrolinguistics. Sociolinguistics is a combination of two different disciplines, sociology and linguistics, but are closely related. However, the object that is used as a study in sociolinguistics is not sociology, the science of the nature, behavior, and development of society, but language. So, sociolinguistics and social linguistics are two disciplines with different objects of study. One examines language and other study social and societal condition. The following are some of the definition of sociolinguistics according to several experts, but from abroad and within the country. Sumarsono states that the term sociolinguistics consists of two words, namely socio is society and linguistic is language study. So, sociolinguistics is the study of language associated with social condition, study by the social sciences, especially sociology. Halliday. Sociolinguistics is a institutional linguistics related to the linkage of language with the people who use the language, deal with the relation between a language and the people who use it. Pride and Holmes state the sociolinguistics is the study of language as part of culture and society, namely the study of language as part of culture and society. So, according to them, language is part of culture, language and culture, not something that stands alone, language and culture. Delheims. He said Sociolinguistics could be taken to refer to use of linguistic data and analysis in other disciplines concerned with social life, and conversely to use of social data and analysis in linguistics. Sociolinguistics can refer to use of linguistic data and analyze it in other sciences related to social life and vice versa, referring to social data and analyzing it into linguistic.
Okay, the next material will explain by myself, Cinta Altusaada. Okay, the next material on basic concepts in sociolinguistics. 3 basic concepts in sociolinguistics. The first is community speech. Language community is a concept in sociolinguistics which describes a certain group of people who use language in a unique and mutually way among them. The second is high prestige and low prestige varieties. Important for sociolinguistic analysis is the concept of prestige. Certain speaking habits can be considered positive or negative, which is then applied to the speakers. An important implication of sociolinguistic theory is that speakers choose a variation when performing speech. The third is social networks. To understand language in society means we also have to understand the social networks in which language is. The term social network is another way of describing a particular speech society in relation to the relationship between individual members in society. Sociolinguistic problems. Okay, there are 7 dimensions in sociolinguistic research. That is, the first, the speaker's social identity. This can be seen from the question of what and who is the speaker and how relationship with the interlocutor. And the second, the social identity of the listeners who are involved in the communication process. This need to be reviewed on the part of the speaker. The speaker's social identity consists of family members, and the next is the social environment in which the speech event takes place. It happens in the family room at home, in the mosque, on the soccer field, on the clipboard, in the library, and etc. And the next, synchronous and diachronic analysis of social dialect. In the form of description of social dialect patterns, both those that apply to a certain period of time or those that apply to an identified period of time. And the next is different social judgment by speakers of speech form behavior. The speaker certainly has a certain social class in society. Next is level of diversity and diversity of language, like variation, whether dialect variety or variety has its own social function. And the next is practical application of sociolinguistic research, namely discussing the function of sociolinguistic research to answer practical problems in society. For example, the problem of language teaching, translation, overcoming social conflict due to language conflict, and etc. Okay, for the next material, we'll explain by Nining Windari.
Sociolinguistic use. Sociolinguistic use for vertical life are many, because language as means of human verbal communication, of course, has certain rules. In its use, sociolinguistics provides knowledge on how to use language. First of all, we can use sociolinguistic knowledge in communicating or interacting. Sociolinguistics will provide guidelines for use in communicating by showing what language variety, or language style we should use when talking to certain people. Sociolinguistics will also show how we should speak when we are in a mosque, in a library room, and in a garden. Conclusion: Sociolinguistics is the study of the characteristic of language variation, the function of language variation, and language user because these three elements always interact, change, and change one another in a speech society. Sociolinguistic studies are more qualitative in nature, while sociology of language studies are quantitative. So, sociolinguistics is more concerned with details of actual language use, such as description of patterns of language or dialects used in a particular culture. The speaker's choice of language or dialect use, topic, and background of conversation, while the sociology of language is more related to social factors, which are receptional with language or dialect.
Alright, we have heard the presentation of the material from the 9 group of presenters. Hopefully the presentation will be beneficial for you all. Thank you for your attention, and let's close this presentation by saying Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. As a moderator, I apologize for the mistakes and thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.